This is another clone review, this time of a cold steel AK-47. This is the real AK-47 from Cold Steel on the bottom, and this is the Chinese clone on the top. Considerable differences. Usually these Chinese manufacturers get millimeter per millimeter perfect patterns right, but this time they really did something different, and I don't really like the Chinese clone. There's some things I guess to like, and some things, and a lot of things not to like, in my opinion. This is the newest AK-47. This is the Tri-Lock AK-4 Cold Steel. I'm not an expert on cold steels, by the way, but this is my first folding knife. But this is the Carpenter steel, the CTS XHP version. And then this is the Chinese knockoff of the AK-47. We can get a little focus going on here. Watch this. That's different. It's spring assisted. AUS 8, according to them, probably, who knows what it is. I don't know if it's AUS 8 or not. It's very sharp. Not quite as sharp as the Cold Steel, but pretty sharp. I don't think it quite has the same finish on the blade. Cold Steel is very smooth, almost like Teflon, this DLC coating. So if you and the other thing is that I didn't make this quite as apparent. Let me close these, and I guess I'll start with them closed. Sorry, I don't have the boxes. For some reason, I got rid of the box for this guy. But let me tell you, the box was a pretty good ripoff. You'll notice the size difference. I don't know if previous versions of AK-47 were smaller, but there is a difference here. Let's see. I'm having a hard time getting them in the picture here because the HD is a little. Yeah, let's do that. Considerable difference in the size. I don't have my scale out, but this one is heavier, and there's a reason why it's heavier. This is G10, and this is the old slick, and these are aluminum scales here. So is this right here. This is either steel or it's aluminum. Might be steel. So there's a little more weight here. This, I believe, is a plastic. So this is a kind of a slippery feeling knife here. And there's nothing slippery about the Cold Steel AK-47, which is really a nice knife, to tell you the truth. This one's a lot more expensive because it's got the Carpenter steel, but really fits your hand nice. The reason why I think that these things are so strong is when you go to pull this lock back, you got to really press down on this thing to get it really deep in there. And I think it's got a very deep lock. That's why they can put all that weight on those things when they're testing. The clips are a little different. Here's the other side. This is probably a copy of a previous version. I think it is of a previous version AK-47 clip. You can see this one's greatly different here. Kind of a stylized. I just noticed that curve in it. There's two lanyard holes in the back like there was on some previous versions of the AK-47. But mainly it's this, it's got a flipper action here, which really just basically breaks the detent loose so the spring can throw this thing forward. And let me tell you, it fires. It also has a liner lock instead of a back lock. The back lock on the regular Cold Steel AK-47, that is got a substantial spring on it, and you really got to really kick it down to get it to disengage, which probably makes one hell of a lock. And there's nothing about this knife that feels like it isn't working as designed. This has no safety on it, and that would concern me about this knife. It can come loose here. So I would not carry this knife. I don't have any assisted opening knives as far as spring assisted, but most of the ones I did some review on because I was interested in spring assisted knives. That's where I got this one and said, spring assisted knife. And so I looked up, most of these spring assisted knives have some type of safety on them, but this one does not. So let me do some close-ups here of this knife. The edge is cut, is ground pretty good on it. The blade's done pretty nice. No matter what you do, you always get dust on them. These handles are aluminum. This knife didn't cost much. I don't know, like $15 shipped to your door. The blade steel is considerably different in these two knives as far as the way the blades are done here. The thickness. You really get an appreciation for this when you feel the blade. Get something kind of focusing here. Oh, here's another thing I noticed. This is crooked. It's not loose. It's just on there crooked. Not that you're going to use that, but because let me see. Last time I tried that, it's not that easy. Let's see how easy it breaks the. Yeah, it does. You can see it flip out there. So let's get this here. Push it. Should have shot this in regular HD. I'd have got a lot more in the view here. I mean, it's got a strong spring on it, and it really flips out. So if you have any questions about these, I'm not going to do a long video on this. I don't really see any point in doing much more than I did. The interesting thing is that they didn't do a copy of the pattern, and I don't know of any. I looked. I didn't see any of the older AKs that looked anything like this with this spring-assisted thing. Some of them I found did have these these aluminum scales on them, and I guess the people are collecting those now because they're not made anymore, so people think they're worth a lot of money. But that and the double holes here and the steel skull cracker here, all those things are on previous versions of this knife, and this knife looks kind of somewhat true to that. But I don't know if the size was bigger on those or not. But this flipper here, I've never seen one of those, and so that's a new thing. If you really want spring-assisted AK-47 kind of poser knife, this is pretty good. I would be a little leery about carrying this in your pocket, but I mean, it's something jostles it around. I don't know how much you got to do to get it loose, but I wouldn't trust it. You'd hate to stick your hand in there and have this thing shoved halfway through it. And it's a thin blade, and it's sharp enough to hurt you, that's for sure. So, so there's the AK-47 OEM, the new version of the AK-47 versus the Chinese clone. If you have any questions, post them, and I'll feel free to post them, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.